everyone, I'm Lily of Lil Pilates, and welcome back. We are going to focus on some spinal rotation today. Rotation is maybe my least favorite way to move the spine, and I think it's a result of a lot of sitting, a lot of stabilizing in that forward reaching posture from cycling, just a lot of immobility in the spine in general for me, and maybe you are kind of the same way. So hopefully this video will be helpful. We need a block or a ball for today, something to rest your head on, pillow, it can be anything. We're gonna lay on our side to start, head on your pillow. So spine stacked, head, shoulders, and hips stacked, and then knees bend in towards your chest. And then try to make sure that bottom shoulder comes underneath you versus it being forward and opening up the chest more towards the ceiling. So getting nice and stacked, and then we'll bring the hands one on top of the other, head rests down. So spine is nice and neutral. We're gonna rotate the chest towards the floor. And then you're gonna draw the top hand along the bottom hand. Hand can come to the front of the shoulder and help encourage that rotation through the chest, or if it feels okay, the top arm can reach long behind you. And then we're gonna come back through center. And then if that amount of rotation is feeling okay, you can add the crossed legs, so the top leg comes to the floor in front and kind of on top of your bottom leg. And then we'll do that rotation again. And inhale, open up. And then exhale, come back through center. We're gonna go one more time on this side. The last thing I'll say about this rotation is a lot of us are sticky through the mid and upper ribs. So we maybe mobilize more through the arm than we do through the ribs. So really get that feeling of the rib cage rotating, sternum down towards the floor. And then as you get into that opening up of the chest, again, hand to the heart can be really helpful in getting that opening of the whole thoracic spine versus just the arm to the wall behind you. And then we'll come back through center. You could do so many of those. They feel pretty nice. Once we start to mobilize through there, we're just gonna do 3. Press on up and go to the other side. So same stacked position to start. Legs start stacked and do one there, rotating towards the floor and then rotating open towards the ceiling. You might feel like this side feels more mobile or a little tighter. So as you come through center, you can make the choice again for yourself, whether you cross the legs or not. Let's do our rotation 2 more times, rotating towards the floor, opening up to the ceiling and back behind. Again, hand to the chest, maybe to encourage that rotation. And then one more time. Try to really rotate towards the floor. Gaze towards the floor, sternum towards the floor. And then last time, opening up, keeping the hips as level, as stacked, and as stable as possible. And then coming back through center. All right, laying on your back, prop comes out to the side. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Neutral spine. So head, shoulders, and hips heavy, breath of air under the low back. Grounding through the feet, inhale, and then exhale. Use your abdominals to curl the tail under, come through your imprint, and then start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Try to peel the spine up off the mat 1 vertebra at a time, and then curl down 1 vertebra at a time. 1 time up and down through center, and then we're gonna go into that rotation. So curling your hips up through center, hold at the top. So the hips are lifted, the weight's in the shoulders, but try to let the front rib cage relax down towards the floor. So it's like we have suspenders from the front ribs to hips, shortening the front side. And then bend the elbows, bring your hands or your fingertips to your hip points. We're gonna rotate the pelvis towards the right. So the right hip dips towards the floor, We're rotating through the lumbar spine to find that movement, and then come back up through center, engaging from the underside on the right. Left hip rotates to the floor and lifts. And you're going to do this rotation a couple times each side. Moving away from the hand and then lifting back up to level. One more time to the right. Notice my thigh is not really moving. It's all about that lumbar rotation, pelvis moving. We're going to let the right hip lower down again, and then arms can come by your side. Roll down along the right side of your spine through your imprint, releasing to your neutral. And then you may pick up the pelvis and move it a little to the right to find center. You're going to curl your hips up through center. And then left hip lowers, roll down along the left side of the spine. So rolling down through your spine in rotation. This doesn't always feel great on your sacrum or at the SI joint. So if it doesn't, you can eliminate this. You'll just curl up and down through center. Otherwise, curling up, we're gonna go one more time each side. Right hip dips, rolling down. So the weight through my shoulders stays the same. And then curling up through center, and the weight through my feet stays the same. The rotation's happening at the pelvis. Everything else staying pretty stable. Releasing all the way to center. And then with the feet about sit bones distance apart, we're gonna rotate through the spine, so a little windshield of the legs to the right and the left. The more narrow the feet are, the more rotation you'll get for your spine. You can walk the feet a little wider and you'll get more of that mobility for the hips, more internal and external rotation of the hip joint. And then we'll come through center. Legs in towards the chest, nod the chin, and do a little rock and roll to come up. You can always just roll to the side to sit up instead. We're gonna come into some more thoracic mobility, so into our saw and then into sort of some fun saw into side bendy stuff. So if you have pretty tight hamstrings, you can sit on your block to decrease the amount of hip flexion. If sitting in this L-sit position, bent knees might help as well, but even if with bent knees you curl the tail under a little bit, you feel a little compressed through the spine, that's where I want you to sit on your block. Otherwise, sitting tall, maybe even moving your butt cheeks out of the way so you can feel your sit bones really ground down. Feet are gonna be about mat width distance and the arms are gonna reach to a T. So we're gonna inhale through center and then we're gonna exhale and rotate through the rib cage to the right and then round forward, reaching for the right outer pinky toe or maybe the right outer calf. Feel the arms reach in opposition as you round forward and then inhale, unflex and unrotate the spine. Exhale, rotate to the left and reach. And inhale, lift all the way up through center. Exhale, rotate and round. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, rotate and reach to the left. As I'm going side to side, noticing as I reach, my legs do not shift. So try to keep the feet really stable. If the legs move, it's just letting us know that we're mobilizing, rotating through the pelvis versus more of the mid and upper back, which is our goal with this one. So let's go one more time to the left and then come all the way on up and let the arms come down. From here, bring the right leg, sole of the foot to the inner left thigh in a bent position. Arms come out wide to a T again. We're gonna exhale, rotate to the left, and then reach forward for the left toes. So sort of our saw in this half straddle position. We're gonna inhale, lift up, and unrotate, and then continue to rotate to the right. Plant the right hand down behind you, sort of shooting out from your hip, and then we're gonna press through the arm, lift up through the bottom waist into a side bend. And you're gonna flex at the hip, lower down. Exhale, rotate, half saw. Inhale, lift up, rotate away from the bottom leg, plant the arm, and lift, big side bend, stretch for the top side, bottom side, drawing away from the floor, and then lower down. Last time like that. Rotate and reach to the left. Inhaling up, exhale, rotate, land the arm, big side bend. Then from here, stabilizing through that bottom leg, top arm lifts up to the ceiling. So we're in more of a diagonal lean versus the side bend. And then pressing down through the bottom arm, let's bring the top leg a little bit more in front so it's shooting out from the hip. And then from here, we're gonna rotate the top arm under the bottom and then inhale, lift up. So a little thread the needle in that position. Let's go one more time. Exhale, rotate the ribs. Inhale, lift up. Let's stabilize through the arms, float that back leg behind you again, hinge at the hips, and lower all the way down. So that I am facing you, I'm gonna turn around and face the other way, bringing the left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh. You can turn, do whatever you need to so that you can see me well. And then again, arms out wide to a T. Inhale, grow tall. We're gonna exhale, rotate to the right and reach in your half saw. Inhale, lift up, unrotate, and then rotate towards the left away from the bottom leg. Left arm lands and rotate open, big opening through the front of the hip, big gathering of the bottom side, stretch for the top side. Flex at the hips, lower down, rotate and reach. Inhale, lift up. Rotate through the ribs, get that moment of rotation, and then side bend, lower down, and then last time, exhale, rotate, reach, lift up, rotate to the left, plant the left hand down, sweep the right arm up, and then stabilizing through the bottom side. Lengthen up to more of that diagonal with the right hand above the shoulder, right leg comes out, shooting from the hip. And then we're gonna rotate, exhale, rotate the ribs. Inhale, open up. Exhale, wring out the rib cage and lift. Make sure that this shoulder doesn't start to run forward. Plant through the pinky side of the hand. Last time, wring out the ribs, exhale. Inhale, open up. And then from here, stabilize through the arms, extend through that back or that top leg. Bring it back underneath you or a little bit behind the hip. And then flex at the hips. Lower down. And then bring the legs in. All right. So that is it for our rotation, spinal rotation video today. Hopefully that got a little bit loosening up, maybe a little bit of the heart rate up with some of that planking at the end. If you have questions, please let me know. And if you liked this video, want to see more, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.